Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the language class. In today's language class, we'll do the topic preposition. Let's first start with prepositions of time. The most important prepositions of time are in, at, and on. Their usage is different. At is used for exact time. For example, at 5 o'clock or at 5 p.m. It is also used for festivals on fixed dates. For example, at Christmas, because Christmas falls on 25th December, that's why at Christmas. Then on is used for telling exact dates and days. For example, on 26th January 1950 or on Sunday, right? Then in is used for longer duration. For example, in January means the whole month of January. Then in 1950 means the whole year of 1950, or in spring means the whole season of spring. So for longer duration we have in, for exact dates and days we have on, and for exact point of time we have at. Then, while talking about morning, afternoon, noon, evening, night, midnight, we say in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. But when it comes to noon, then we say at noon. And it is always at night and at midnight. Okay. Then we also say on a particular day morning. For example, I met her on Sunday morning, right? And suppose if we have to say only morning, then we will say I met her in the morning, or I met her on Sunday. Okay, then for festivals which do not have fixed dates like Diwali, we use on. For example, on Diwali or on the eve of Diwali, right? Then for weekends, we have different prepositions. We say over the weekend, at weekend, for the weekend. They all are correct, but they mean different things. For example, when we say over the weekend, I will stay here over the weekend, then we mean to say the entire duration of Saturday and Sunday. Okay, and suppose if I say I will come to your house at weekends, that means in all the future weekends. It is going to be a recurring event. Okay, and suppose if I say I have some plan for the weekend, then because I am talking about a plan. Okay, therefore the use of for. Then, children, another thing to keep in mind is we should not use in, at, or on with last, next, this, or every. For example, if I say I met her on last Friday, then it is incorrect. The correct way of saying is I met her last Friday. If I say I play cricket on every Sunday, then it is incorrect. What is the right way of saying? I play cricket every Sunday. Then the expressions on time and in time. On time means at the time arranged. Okay, not before, not after. For example, the train started on time. That means not before or after the scheduled time. But if I say in time, it means not late or before the appointed time. For example, make sure you are at the station in time for the train. That means you are at the station before the departure of the train. Okay. Now, let's have a look at the phrases at the end and in the end. At the end means the time at which something ends. So at the end refers to time, and in the end means finally. Okay, to tell you the difference, let's have a look at this sentence. At the end of the speech, you can conclude by saying, in the end, I would like to thank my parents for their support. Okay, at the end means when the speech is going to end, the time of the end of the speech. Okay, and in the end means finally. Right. Now, difference between in and within. In denotes at the end of a period of time, and within denotes before the expiry of a period of time, before the end of a period of time. For example, if we say he will return in a week, that means at the end of a week. But if we say if he will return within a week, then we mean to say before the expiry of a week. Right. Now here in this context, before is also used, and it is used to refer to a point of time. For example, he will return before 15 March. That means before a fixed time, 15 March. Right. Now let's have a look at the difference between for, since and ago. For is used for a period of time, and it is used with all tenses. Right? When we refer to a period of time, then we use for. For example, I stayed in Delhi for a month, a period of time, the whole month. Okay, we have been living in this house for 10 years, a period of time, a period of 10 years. Now see, here I have used simple past and here perfect continuous. Right? Then since is used to denote a point of time. Okay, exact point of time, and it is preceded by a verb in some perfect tense, not any tense, only perfect tense. For example, we have been living in this house since 2000. Okay, now 2000 is exact time, the exact name of the year, 2000, and here I have used perfect continuous tense. Right? Now we come to ago. Ago is used for a past action measured from the present. Okay. For example, I met her a fortnight ago. Here I mean to say a fortnight from now, from the current time. Okay, now let's see the difference between till and until. They are used to say when something finishes. Okay, for example, he sat in his shop till or until closing time. That means not after the closing time. Okay, now till is used much less often in writing. Also, at the beginning of a sentence, until is usually used. Okay, in this context, by means not later than. For example, if I say finish your work by 6 p.m., that means at 6 or earlier to 6, not later than 6, not after 6. Now we come to the difference between from and during. They both are used to express the duration of time. For example, I stayed in Bhopal from May to July, or the sun shines during the day. Okay. Now we come to the prepositions of place. The most common prepositions are at, on, in. At is used for exact location, an area that is not enclosed and with the names of small towns or villages. Okay, for example, I remained at the door. Here, door refers to the exact location where I was standing. So that's why at the door. Then I met her at the end of the road or at crossroads. Here, the end of the road or crossroads, they do not have boundaries. They are not enclosed. That's why at. Then I lived at Udupi in Karnataka. Now, Udupi is a small place. That's why at Udupi in Karnataka. Okay. Now we come to on. On is used to denote position when there is contact with the surface. Okay. They are sitting on the floor. Also, we always say on the banks of a river. Fine. So two things we have seen. One, that there should be contact with the surface where the thing is kept. Then we will use on. And with the banks of the river, we always say on. For example, Delhi is situated on the banks of river Yamuna. Okay. with the banks of Yamuna, and if a city is situated there, we always use on. Or we can say Kolkata is situated on the banks of river Hooghly. Okay. Then in suggest an enclosed area, an area that has boundaries. Okay, and it is also used with the names of big cities, states, or countries. Whenever we are referring to a larger area, then we use in. For example, they are in the room. The room has boundaries and it is an enclosed space. That's why in. Or I live in Punjab in India. Okay, Punjab is also a big state. Then India, a country, that's why in. Now there are few things that require attention. One, the difference between on the table and at the table. On, as you have been told, means if there is some contact with the surface, then on is used. For example, if we say the child is sitting on the table, then it means on the surface of the table having a contact with it. But if I say he is working at his table, okay, then it refers to the location of the place where he is working. Maybe he is sitting on a chair which is near the table. Okay, then we will use at the table, not on the table. No one can work by sitting on the table. Okay, then difference between in and into. Again, in denotes position inside something, an enclosed area. For example, the students are sitting in the class. But into denotes motion. Okay, it means motion towards the inside of something. Okay, for example, the students are going into the class. The students are in the motion. They are in the process of going inside the class. That's why into. Okay. Then difference between on and upon. It is the same as in and into. On is used for position and upon is used for motion. For example, the book is on the table. The book is on the surface of the table or having a contact with the table. But if I have to say the cat sprang upon the table, okay, because the cat, when it sprang, it was in motion. That's why upon the table. Now let's see the difference between over and above, where the children get confused. Over is used when one thing touches or covers another. Right? He put nets over the plants. Okay, so the nets covered the plants. That's why over. Here we will not use above. Right? Then over is normally used with numbers. For example, I weigh over 60 kilograms or I receive over 60 emails every day. But keep in mind, with temperature in relation to 0, we use above, not over. Okay, for example, I will say it was 3 degrees above 0. Fine. Then above also means higher than. And it is used when there is more space between two things. That also brings me to another use of over. When the space between two things is less, okay, then we use over. But if the space is more between two things, then we use above. For example, the aeroplane flew above the clouds, right? Or suppose if I have to say most of the race is 5 meters, I will use above the sea level. Okay, then one thing to note, over also implies movement from one location or position to another. For example, we are flying over the mountains. Okay, we are crossing over the mountains. So here I am not talking about my distance with the mountains. Okay, I am talking about the position I am taking. I am crossing over the mountains, that's why over. Or the cat jumped over the fence, right? Maybe it is on one side of the fence and it jumped over to go to the other side of the fence. That's why over. Now we come to the difference between to and towards. To denotes destination or the result of the movement, and towards denotes the direction of the movement. Okay, for example, Jamie walks to work every day. Fine. Here, by work, I mean the workplace or maybe his office, right? So the final destination is his workplace. That's why to. But if I say Jamie was walking towards his office, that means he was seen walking in the direction of his office. Maybe he went to his office or he did not, we don't know, but the direction that he took was in the direction of his office, therefore towards. Right. Now the difference between and among. Between, as you know, is used for two persons or things. Okay. Or when we have a definite number in mind. For example, I was sitting between my friend and my mother. Now two people are there. That's why between. Or if I say Switzerland lies, four countries are mentioned here, then I will use between because I know the exact number. Okay, now we come to among. Among is used when we are talking about more than two things. Okay, for example, the four brothers fought among themselves. Fine, more than two, that's why among. Now we come to the difference between beside and besides. Beside means by the side of. Okay, for example, I live beside the stream. That means by the side of the stream. Okay, and besides means in addition to or other than. For example, besides all this, the corn must be cut. That means in addition to all this work, another work has to be done, that is cutting of the corn. Okay, or nobody besides Mohan could have done this. That means nobody other than Mohan. Now let's have a look at the usage of fixed prepositions with certain words. For example, if I say desire, then I will use for. I have a desire for something. But if I say desirous, I am desirous, then I will use of. Similarly, with confidence, we use in, and with confident, we use of. It is always according to the rules, according to the regulations. But when it comes to in accordance, then we use with, in accordance with the rules. Then sensible of, but insensitive to. Affection for, but affectionate to. Ambition for, but ambitious of. Fond of, but fondness for. Then neglectful of, but negligent in. Okay, then there are more words with which we use certain prepositions. For example, with complaint, if I use of, then I'm talking about a problem. Or if I have to speak about a problem, then I will use of. We always complain of a problem. And we always complain about the object of the problem. Okay, for example, complain about students for creating indiscipline, right? And if I say complain against, because complain is also something in negative, against is also negative, so it's better to avoid using two negatives. Okay, but still in exceptional cases we can use. For example, complain against the police because the police is supposed to be the caretaker of law and order of any place. So if it does not do its duty, then we will say complain against, not complain about the police. Okay, now we come to compare to and compare with. Compare to means pointing out the difference between two dissimilar things. For example, life has been compared to a drama. Now there is no connection between life and drama, therefore to. But Compare with is used when we are pointing out the difference between two similar things. For example, Paris is compared with London. Paris and London both are cities, therefore with. Then we use for with aim to indicate a goal. We always aim for a goal. Okay, for example, aiming for high success. Then we always aim at a target. Okay, for example, Arjun aimed at the bird's eye. Then we always use aim to indicate the achievement of something. We always aim to achieve something. For example, the hockey team aimed to win the gold. Okay, then it is always repent of, not repent for. For example, she repented of her mistake, not for her mistake. Then it is always prevailed on or upon, both are correct. With bent, on or upon, both are correct. Then if I say count on, I mean to say to rely on someone or something. Okay, and count on is more commonly used than count upon. So if you get the word count, it is better to use on. Right, children? Okay, children, there is one chapter in your comprehensive English grammar book. It is chapter 26, words followed by particular prepositions. Okay, do go through this chapter also. It has many prepositions. There are certain prepositions which are used with particular words and they are fixed. So do go through this chapter. It will help you in understanding prepositions. Okay, you will get some assignment related to prepositions. Do it in your composition notebooks. Plus, whatever has been taught to you in this class, write everything, every rule that has been taught today in your composition notebooks. Right, children? Any doubt you have, you can always post in the WhatsApp group. Thank you, children. Have a good day.